Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, Ceann Comhairle, for the debate, which I think has been very useful. And I have to acknowledge that there is a great deal of sincerity and there's merit in what many people are saying. I think they miss the point that it's very, very difficult to make any changes in this bill. And certainly it's very difficult to accept many of the amendments because simply we are implementing an EU directive, which we can't change. But we're now dealing with what is the most contentious issue, which is the issue on which we do have choice ourselves, and we've made a choice. And that has been our decision to appoint Fingal County Council as the noise regulator. I know from the debate that it's not popular in some quarters, and I understand the historical background of the perception. That does not mean that what we have done is not the right call. As I made clear at committee stage, the regulatory process will be robust, rigorous, and immune from any inappropriate outside influence. The choice of Fingal has been rigorously tested, including on points of law, and it has withstood those tests. That is why I'm holding firm on this decision, which was made by the government last year. Fingal is the right choice, and the bill provides for a robust system with checks and balances, which will ensure an open and transparent process that is fully appealable to an independent body in the form of Bord Pleanála, something which has been noticeably missing from this debate this evening, an acknowledgement that there is a right of appeal to Bord Pleanála. The board has full step-in regulatory powers under an appeal. This bill has significant national importance, and the only viable option is the full structure, experience and accountability of Fingal County Council. I'm absolutely confident that Fingal will be a robust regulator, and once in place it will carry out the functions of the competent authority in an open and transparent manner. This bill supports Ireland's connectivity and economic progress and provides a strong and independent regulatory regime for noise at Dublin Airport to ensure residents' rights are protected. I believe in the effectiveness of local government by local authorities. I believe that giving Fingal County Council additional legal powers to regulate noise at Dublin Airport makes perfect sense. It is joined up public administration. It is empowering local government, allowing a local authority to make local decisions. It is in the best interests of providing a readily accessible, fully transparent and locally accountable process for managing and monitoring noise at Dublin Airport. That is why I will not be accepting all these amendments. I would just point out to some of the deputies that while the points they're making have some merit, that the issue of conflict of interest is one which people have all raised. 8% of the revenue, yeah. They do get 8% of the revenue. You're absolutely right. That means 92% of it comes from elsewhere. And for people to use rhetoric in this House, which is used by Deputy Bruin, where they say that the regulator must not be totally captured by companies they regulate. You did say, that's not total capture. That's not total capture. Deputy, that's not total capture. They do get 8% of their revenue from one source, but they get 92% of it elsewhere. And that must be acknowledged. So let's not just hype it up to an extent which is pretty well unacceptable. The issue of the IAA and the issue of the CAR, I can see the merits in what people are saying, but the IAA everybody knows. The IAA was the first choice. But what happened was that the Attorney General felt that there was too big of a conflict of interest there. So we accepted that. We went elsewhere where there was not a conflict of interest. And as I've said in my statement already, that was legally tested. The Attorney General's office has deemed this one to be an acceptable choice. The IAA was not deemed to be acceptable choice because of the difficulties of conflict of interests. So I ask you to accept that this is the best choice, it's the best fit. And when we look at some of the arguments about the EPA and about the merits of having an environmental or noise expertise, on those criteria, Fingal wins hands down.